Okay, hello everyone. I'm so glad that you guys have decided to join me tonight in the event that we don't know each other. I'm Tracy DeMario, and I am the Superstar Director for the Sun and Bliss family. And tonight we are going to be talking about all things incentive trip. So super excited about this one. Of course, I have to say I'm always excited about any opportunity to earn a trip. And I know that we've got several consultants on here, some of which I do not know. So if you guys wouldn't mind in the chat, if everybody would post your current title in the chat, and if you've earned an incentive trip, if you would post that in the chat too, that would be fantastic and greatly appreciated. If you guys have the ability to turn on your cameras, that would be wonderful. We will not judge you. Don't be afraid. It's okay. You can just turn it on and it's all good. And if life doesn't allow you to, then well, that's okay too. I do understand sometimes there's circumstances when it's not possible. So let me just take a peek over here. I'm really curious to see what titles we have on here tonight. Oops, I just clicked off. Oh, lovely. Let's see. Yep. Chat. Let's see. Okay. Okay, we'll keep adding it in here. So please, if you guys just joined us, put in here your current title and if you have earned an incentive trip. So that would be great. And I will keep checking back. All right. So with that, I want to go ahead and jump right into this. Get my notes back up here. Oh, where'd they go? Oh my goodness. Okay, I flipped over when I went to go post and now I've got to locate it again. Gotta love that. Okay, here we go. All right, so year after year, these incentive trips do look pretty similar, but there's always some variations. And so I like to talk about them. And first thing I want to tell you guys is I didn't see a lot of newer consultants on here. Well, here's one brand new, 3 days and she's on. Julie, I love you already. That is so impressive that you're already on this Zoom tonight. So big shout out to you. I have a feeling just for the fact that you're on this Zoom, we are probably going to get to know your name pretty well. So fantastic, super excited to have a brand new person on here. So, and make sure you take lots of notes. And if you have questions, any of you guys for that matter, at the very end, when I get done, I will open it up to questions and additional comments and stuff if you guys have other things to share as well. So we will be opening that up. But a couple of things, and just because the fact that I just saw that Miss Julie was on, I want to bring this up too. So I joined in November of 2008. Most of you guys know that. And the first opportunity I had to earn an incentive trip, I took huge advantage of that. And that was the Alaska trip of 2009. So what I want you guys to hear me say is, you guys know I do this full time. I'm going on year 15. And I knew almost, well, within months of joining that I wanted to make more of this than just a hobby. I loved the product, but I had decided, you know what, Mommy Money was fun and all, but no, I really want to like win at this thing. I want to get my husband home. I want us to have more opportunities as a family and even for our relationship because he was an executive chef and he was gone more than he was home. And even though he had done really well professionally, financially, you know, there was no way that his company was ever going to send us on any incentive trips. I mean, they weren't going to send us on cruises. He, like I said, was a slave basically to the job. And that was a real big priority to me. So right out of the gate, I just started working this business, doing all the things. I followed my sponsor and other amazing consultants that were sharing things. And I just started working it. And I was able to earn my first incentive trip. On that incentive trip, now remember, this was in 2009. I met so many amazing consultants, many of which I consider to be my closest friends in Scentsy. So that's why when we talk about this and we talk about why, I mean, sure, the trip to Alaska was great, but at the same time, not was just the trip to Alaska. It was the fact that Joe and I got to go on this trip together, an amazing trip together. And I got to meet and develop relationships with my lifelong friends. Like I can't imagine my life without these people. And I met them all because of this Scentsy incentive trip. So these incentive trips can be so much more than just that particular trip. And I know you guys can share all of those kind of things too, but since that incentive trip, I knew I was never going to miss another. And I have earned every single incentive trip Scentsy has offered, including every top tier trip that Scentsy has ever offered. So for those of you guys that don't know what that looks like, and I'm not going to go through the list. Hold on, let me just mute everybody here again real quick. Okay. But I can tell you Scentsy has sent us to Greece. Scentsy has sent us to South Africa. Scentsy has sent us to Switzerland, Mediterranean cruises. I mean, it's completely crazy over the top, the places we've been. And we've been able to go in a way that I would never have been able to afford to go. So their trips are fantastic. And this year, they've done something a little bit different. We've got a few different summits. Some of you guys are like, well, I will never go on a trip, like for whatever reason, life circumstances, and that's okay. Because they have a level this year. Level 1 is not even a trip. It's a set of their awesome Scentsy luggage, which if you haven't seen it, it's pretty fantastic. I guess I could have shared a picture of it, but it's pretty cool. So you can actually earn an incentive that's not involved around a trip. So if you don't want to go on a trip for whatever reason, or life will not allow you to, you can still earn this incentive. Level 2, of course, is a trip to Hawaii or to Scentsy Family Reunion, which again, for those of you guys that were not able to make it, this is an opportunity for you guys to do that. I see commonly people post, oh, I could never afford to go to Reunion. Well, guess what? You can earn it. And that's the beautiful thing about these incentive trips. Peggy mentioned she's earned it every single year that she's wanted to ever go. She's earned her registration fee. So you can earn it. And then we, of course, got the trip for 2 and the top 50 Bora Bora. So whichever you're striving for, here's the other thing I will know. And I know many of these past earners can attest to this as well. Whatever you're doing, if you are doing all of the things that we need to do to earn points, your business is going to flourish. So people in the past have been like, well, I don't understand why we have to do this or why we have to do that when it comes to how these incentives are set up. Everything Scentsy asks of us to earn these points is because our business will be better as a result of doing it. And that is exactly what's going to happen. So not only do you have the opportunity to earn the incentive, but your business is going to be better. So first thing I want to do, because I know all of you guys are capable of reading, so I'm not going to read this, but on your workstation under incentive, it will give the description of the qualification period, how you earn it, trackers, all the things are there. I'm just going to do a really quick overview of what you need to do to get points. And then I want to do more of a deep dive into what those activities can look like to help you guys earn this incentive. So for one thing is PRV. Well, we all know as a successful consultant, we all need PRV. So for every PRV that you sell, you're going to get a point. So if you guys are really fantastic sellers, then excellent. You'll be able to get a lot of points that way. If you're okay sellers, that's great. You're going to get some points and we're going to continue to build on that to be better sellers so that we get more points. And if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm struggling with all the things, good news. You've got all of us and we're going to be pouring into you over this incentive period to help you, give you ideas, to share things that have been successful for us so that you too can see some successes and get points when it comes to PRV. Another thing that's going to happen, which they did this last year for the first time, is if you attend World Tour, you will get 500 points. Since I know we have some newbies on here, and I'm going to check the chat again. And for those of you that just joined us, please be sure that you put what your current title is in the chat. And if you've earned any incentive points, that would be, or any incentives before, that would be great. So you will get points for attending World Tour. World Tour is like a mini reunion. It's a one-day deal. It's fantastic. And they go, I haven't counted the locations, but typically they'll go to 30 to 40 locations across the globally. And so you may have to drive. I know some of us will be driving to St. Louis or to Omaha or to Arkansas, depending, on where you guys live. And not everybody's in the Midwest, but in other words, there's not any in Kansas City where I live, but I'm planning the trip. I've marked the date and I'm making the trips. So again, just allow for it. And then you'll get some incentive points. The other way is PRV consistency. So if you do 1,000 PRV or more, and some of you are like 1,000, Yes, I said 1,000 PRV or more, 5 out of the 6 months, you're going to get consistency points, and those can really add up. But I do not want you to like leave the Zoom right now, just because I said the 1,000. Don't leave. There are many consultants that went months without ever hitting 1,000 PRV. And then they really decided to step it up and put the work in. And now they consistently hit 1,000 PRV. So it's possible for you, regardless of what, remember, we're not talking about your past. We're going forward. It's the actions you're going to start today and going forward that are going to matter. Okay. And then we've got, this is a new one, sensational start points. So if earn sensational start during the qualification period. So here we go. I saw a couple newbies, including Cassie's. I guess she's under Cassie. I think I saw that. So very awesome. So if you still are eligible, which she obviously is, Julie is eligible for sensational start levels 1, 2, or 3, even if you joined in June or July, based on when your 70th day is of your sensational start, you can earn points. So that's a fantastic incentive for new consultants, but also for you as a sponsor, because I'm going to get to it down here. For sponsoring points, you'll get those points. So you guys understand that? Because I didn't understand it at first. If you earn sensational start level 1, 2, or 3, if your new team member does, no matter when they joined, if they hit levels 1, 2, or 3 before the end of the qualification period, they get points. You get points, I should say. You get points, okay? So that's a big thing. That's a big deal. We've never got those points before. So that's awesome. So we want to help our new consultants. Personal promotions. Now, I looked in the chat. A lot of you guys are eligible for these personal promotions. I am not. So I don't get any more for that. I'm at the high, I can't go anymore. So I'm not going to get any points. But everyone that's on this Zoom right now, every one of you guys can get personal promotion points. If you happen to be an essential consultant at the moment, like our friend Julie, who's new, you can maximize this because you can get points for every single personal promotion during the incentive period and really take advantage of these personal promotion points. Now, these are first-time promotions. So I say that, let's say, for example, that some of you guys have got a team member that maybe they reinstate on your team, they come back on your team. If they have promoted to lead consultant before, and they come back as a reinstated consultant, so they don't have a team, and they re-promote to lead, you're not going to get points because that's not a new promotion. So you want to make sure as a sponsor that you understand that. Now, if they are an essential consultant, of course, and they sponsor and they get to certified, or they're certified and get to lead for the first time, then you're going to get points. So I wanted to make sure I explained that as well. Activity bonuses, which is you're paid at rank. So we talk a lot. You guys will notice I post every month like paid at title. Paid at rank is a really great way for you guys to consistently, if you're consistently working your business and working with your team, that's going to get you those paid at rank activity bonuses. And when I'll go into more detail about this here in a minute, but if you're not sure what that means for you, then be sure you ask us before we get off this Zoom, or you ask your upline sponsor or director so that they can help you understand what does that look like for me, because it's going to vary depending on what rank that you're at. But those are some great ways to get points. Okay, and we talked about the sponsor and earn sensational start. I already talked about that. And then if you have consultants, again, if you've had, here's what I want you guys to understand, because I saw someone post this today. You're new consultant and you're like, well, I don't have any team members that have fallen off or that are no longer consultants. So that's not going to really help me because I don't have any old teammates to ask back. That may be true, but that doesn't mean your cousin, your neighbor, someone with you work with, someone that you meet at, an event that you're going to be doing in the next month, they may have been a Scentsy consultant before. So you want to be asking, you want to be sharing, because they can come back under you and then you would become their sponsor. And if they promote to certified for the first time, then you would get the 250 points. If they promote to lead for the first time, then you would get those promotion points. So it's still something that an activity that you want to add to your list of things to do. is asking people, hey, do you or anybody you know, have they ever been a Scentsy consultant before? Because if so, they can come back on your team. Okay, and then we've got our frontline promotion to certified. I've talked about that already. And frontline promotion points to lead consultant. And I already shared as well as that. So now let's talk about, what does this look like? You're like, okay, well, that sounds all great, but I'm going to need a lot more information to make these things happen. And that's exactly what we're going to do now. So first of all, let's talk about PRV. Now, some of you guys, like I said, this is a very easy thing. It comes very natural to you, and that's fantastic. But for most consultants, that's not the case. For most of you, you are going to have to put a lot of effort into getting that PRV. And I'm going to challenge you to shoot for the 1,000 PRV every month. If you get more than that, that's great. But really, I would want to push for that 1,000 minimum so I can try my best to get those consistency points. Because every opportunity we have to get those points, we want to try to grab them. Okay. So when we talk about your PRV, my first and foremost favorite way to encourage my team members to get PRV is to host a booking blitz. And I know for some people that's a bad word. Many people do not like doing it because it puts them outside of their comfort zone. A booking blitz is simply a time where you say, I'm going to pick this date, this amount of time, like 45 minutes. I'm going to have my list of past hosts, past customers, anybody and everybody I can think of. And I am going to purposefully ask them if they would love to have a new scent event with the new catalog. And that can be in person, that could be online, it could be a text party, however you're doing your parties. But you're going to purposefully be asking them if they will book with you. So that's a booking list. And I'm going to recommend that you do that every single month. Okay, that's one way. An open house. Open houses can be fantastic. Many of you guys on here have had open houses and have had very successful open houses. So you don't have to have product on hand. If you do, that's great. But if you don't, you do not. Simply use whatever came in your kit and whatever personal Scentsy that you have to have your open house, and invite people over. People are really starting to come out again. I mean, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but in the last 6 months, people are more than ready to come out. So especially with the holidays having, we've got a new catalog that's coming. Now is a fantastic time to have an open house. So if you need some ideas, I'm going to share with you where you can find some of those from examples of other people have had and they've shared as well. Let's see. Got a question here. So say you have a teamie that canceled a month or two ago. They can now come back without waiting period and get the reinstatement kit for $59. No. If you have a team member that canceled within the last month or two, they have to sit out for 3 months before they can come back. So what I tell people is log into the workstation and see what date it gives you. If it gives you a date that you can reinstate right away, then go for it. We're going to get you restarted. However, if it's outside of right now, set a reminder in your phone. And then I too personally make a little note of that. I got my little stickies already going on my clipboard. And I'm going to remind you when you can come back so we can get you restarted. So that's just something that I do. Another question that just came in, I'll go ahead and answer this one too, because I see it here. So could my husband sign up and join under me? So the answer is no. They cannot sign up under you because you're in the same household, but more importantly, because same household can still work if you're not on the same taxes. So if you file joint taxes and your husband and wife or have a partner, then you cannot sign up as one account or two accounts for that matter. Okay, what you can do is you can work the business together. You can send an email to account services, or you can call consultant support and talk to account services and say, hey, my husband wants to help me with my business. Could you add his name onto my account? And then you can have your business cards, all your business supplies printed together. You can go to your account tab of your workstation and change the display name to read both of your names. So that'll be on your website. So you can certainly work the business together. You just can't have them buy another kit. We can only purchase that discounted kit one time in our lifetime. Okay. So the reinstatement kits are an option if you have consultants that come back and reinstate, but that full kit we can only get one time. Okay. Because it's such a deeply discounted deal. That's just what Scentsy does. Okay. So we talked about open houses. The next one is events. So some of you guys already do events. Some of you guys have never done events. And here's what I want you guys to hear me say. Events can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. It doesn't have to be the state fair like I do with hundreds of, well, not hundreds, but thousands of dollars of product. It doesn't have to be anything and that costs thousands of dollars. My first event cost $10 at a church. I had a simple little card table with 6 warmers and 22 bars. That's where many of us started. That's exactly what most of us did, and some of us still do, because what you're wanting to do is focus on the conversations that come from those opportunities and from those events. So I want you to think about that. And when I tie into events, I want to talk about fundraisers. There's a couple components to that. So this is something that I did, especially early on when I was really trying to establish kind of my event circuit per se, is I would find fundraising events that would be happening. So for example, there was a school that was doing a fundraiser and I'd ask them, hey, can I come set up a Scentsy table and I will donate a percentage of my proceeds? And they said yes. I also did one time a choir for a choir concert. So, and I told them I would donate a percentage of my proceeds to the choir program. So again, it doesn't have to be like big fairs and big festivals. Think outside the box. Next time you go to the grocery store, or you go to a restaurant, or you go to a truck stop or somewhere and you see those flyers for like a fundraiser for a poker run or a chili dinner, or I don't know, whatever you might see, contact the organizer and say, hey, could I come set up a table at your event and I will donate a percentage of my sales? Again, these are opportunities for you to have conversations, which can lead not only to, you know, obviously orders and PRV, but it can lead to future hosts. It can also lead to new team members. And if you're doing it as a fundraiser, then you're able to give back, which is just another great thing to do to your in your community. So if you've never done either of those things, I want to challenge you, add to your challenge list. Those are things that I want to make sure that I do. And if at all possible, try to do at least one a month. Now, fundraisers can mean a lot of things. Fundraisers you can do it like I just talked about, like an event, but there's a lot of different ways to do fundraisers. And I don't have time to do a specific train on fundraisers, but before we get done here, I am going to show you how and where you can find a lot of information about fundraisers. So I will be sharing that with you here in a minute. So we talk about the PRV consistency. And I said, I really want you guys to shoot for 1,000 PRV. And I want to say this again. If some of you guys are immediately thinking, I can't do this, 1,000 is too much. You've got to get rid of that stinking thinking. You have to. The negativity has got to be gone. If you want to be successful in this business, if you want to earn one of these incentive trips, you've got to have a positive mindset. You've got to be filling yourself up with positivity, surrounding yourself with the people that are also working hard to get it, that are sharing all the things, and that are bringing you up and building you up. Because if you wake up every morning, you're like, I'm never going to get a booking today. There's no reason for me to do it. I'm going to go to this event. I'm not going to get any sales. I'm terrible at sponsoring. Guess what? All of those things are what's going to happen. So you've got to stop with that negative thinking and that negative mindset. It's not going to get you anywhere. So back to the 1,000 PRV a month. So I strongly encourage you to have a minimum of 8 PRV activities booked per month. So here's what that means when I think of that. I think of that as a bag party, an online party. It could mean an event. It could mean a fundraiser. So a minimum of 8 a month should get you your 1,000 PRV plus those miscellaneous orders you're going to get from your follow-up, because we all love to do our follow-up and consistently do our follow-up. Yes. Yes. I know that there's consultants on here right now that can tell you when they take their follow-up serious, which many of us do, they get 1,000 PRV a month just off of their follow-up, just from following up with customers. So for those of you guys that are newer, or maybe you've not been real consistent at working your business, or you've not been real consistent with following up, this may take you a month or 2 or 3 to get there. But when you're consistently selling 1,000 plus PRV a month, that's a lot of customers that you have to follow up with. And as long as you continue to follow up with them, you're going to be surprised how many additional orders and referrals you're going to get. It's going to make all of this considerably easier. Okay. But you have to start somewhere. So no matter what your past has been, does not matter. It's what you start doing today and going forward. Okay. So next up is personal promotions. So like I said, every single person that's on this Zoom has the opportunity to earn personal promotion points except for me. And don't feel bad for me. I'll be okay. I'm earning this thing too, with or without them. Okay. But the reality is all of you guys have the opportunity to do that. So you need to understand, what does that look like for me? And I'm going to, if you don't know and you're not sure, again, I'm going to show you where you can access and find that information. But I want to encourage you to work closely with your sponsor or your upline director, because I can tell you that if they know you're excited about earning this trip, that is going to excite them. They want to help you. They want to sit beside you. They want to work with you. So it's really important that you're communicating, saying, hey, I just got off of Tracy's Zoom and I'm earning this trip with or without you, but I'd kind of like to do it with you. So what are we doing here? Okay. So make sure that you're having that conversation and letting them know. Next up, of course, is our activity bonus, and that is getting paid at title, which, I just said that one. Actually, never mind. Ignore me. Well, it's similar. It's not the same, but it's similar. So paid at title is when you are a lead consultant getting paid as a lead consultant. This gets confusing to people. So I'm going to spend just like 30 seconds just to kind of clear the air for some of you guys. And again, if you're newer consultants, you don't have to remember all this. It's okay. Just be glad and celebrate the fact that you're on here tonight, but make yourself a little note that you might need more information. So you can be a lead consultant, but not get paid as a lead consultant if you don't meet the criteria for what it is to be a lead consultant. Let me explain. To be a lead consultant, you have to have 500 PRV personally. You and your team have to have 1,000 TWV, and you have to have one active frontline, which means that one person that's an active frontline to you has to have done their 200 PRV. That's the lead consultant qualifications. So you would get paid at rank that month if all of those things happen. Let's pretend, I don't know, you have an off month. You do your 500 PRV, but the one and only frontline team member that you have decides not to show up and work their business, so they don't get active. And therefore, you don't have all three of the qualifications to get paid at rank. You're still a lead consultant. Your title is not going to change. So if you put on your business cards or your website or you tell the universe, that's totally fine. But you're going to get paid as a certified consultant because you didn't meet all three of the qualifications to get paid as a lead consultant. So that's what we mean when we refer to that. So it's important that you kind of understand that. And again, if that was over your head for some of you that are newer, totally okay. We can revisit that later, and or your upline director, I know, would love to spend more time with you as well on that. So sponsoring points. Now, this is huge. This incentive is probably the heaviest focused on sponsoring of any incentive that we've probably had. Now, that is great in many, many ways, because not only are we getting points for sponsoring, not only are we getting points for them promoting when they promote to a certified or to lead consultants, but for the first time ever, we're also getting points whenever they hit a sensational start level. So there's lots of ways to earn points off of sponsoring new team members. So this is really something we want to all put a lot of emphasis on. And I can tell you throughout the month, we're going to be sharing all the things around sponsoring all month and throughout the incentive period, but putting a heavy focus on it because we don't want to wait. We want you guys to get busy right away. Now, another thing to consider, remember when we talked about how you can have people that have been consultants before come back, it's called reinstating their account, and they can come back under you even if they were not under you before. And when they get certified for the first time, you get the 250 points. When they hit lead for the first time, you get those points, okay? If you've had a team before, if you are a lead consultant and have been for a while and above, and you've had consultants that are no longer consultants anymore, you can call support or do a support ticket and request your canceled frontline list, okay? That's how you get a copy, but it's only going to be your canceled frontline. So you may have had other team members, and unless you've been keeping track of them, they're not going to be able to give you that information. But at least that way you've got some people you can go back to and see if they would like to come back and restart their business. So that is something you can do. I will tell you to be patient with account services. I do this twice a year anyways, incentive or not. I always do it. New catalog season is when I always do it. But they have to manually do these reports. So it can take a couple of days to get this information. So have some patience if you're requesting that information. Okay. Next up, when we talk about the sponsoring, remember, we also talked about we need to help them promote so that they get those promotion points and you get promotion points. And the big piece of that is going to be onboarding. And I'm going to show you. So if those of you that don't have a current onboarding system, I'm going to show you where you can access some that we already have put in place, thanks to other great leaders that have shared, and you can use these tools to help you. Frontline promotions. Again, we want to help those team members that we currently have promote to certified and lead for the first time. And again, I'm going to share with you some different places where you can find some additional information to help you with that too. So there's that. And we already know all of you guys are going to sign up for World Tour, because it's going to be somewhere. They try to find the largest consultant populations and try to get them within a 4 to 6 hour drive. I mean, that's the best thing you can do. I mean, they can't go every single where, but that's how they make those decisions, is where are the large populations of consultants, and then how can we scatter out our corporate staff to as many locations as possible. Okay. So let's see. I know there's a way to look up past consultants, but I can't find it. Okay. So Peggy, there is a way to look up all of your past team members. It's a time consuming process, but it can be done. And you would do that by, for example, you'd want to go 3 months back, because it doesn't do any good if they just canceled this, in July or in June. So you got to go 3 months prior, run your leadership report, use an additional filter with a check mark of will cancel. And then you can run the will cancels list for that month. And then you need to check the following month to see if they put in their 200 PRV. So it is more of a time consuming thing, but that way you could do your entire downline and not just your front line. So hopefully that helped. Okay. Oh, and I know Angie said, I saw Peggy post too. They're all road tripping to Arkansas. So, and that's where I know Cassie and Larkin are going too. I've got to wait till I see the dates before I can for sure commit to where I'm going. I hope I can go to more than one. Hopefully it'll work out and I can go to a few. That would be fantastic. So as soon as we see those dates, I'll be booking my plans too. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to show you guys some resources to help you guys with some of the things that we talked about. Hopefully some of you guys are already using them, but maybe not. So let's see. And I won't be able to see the chat when I do this. So if someone is following the chat for me and wants to unmute and tell me if there's things that I need to know. I hope I have this on my iPad saved. It'll make my life a lot easier. Let's see here if I do. Well, that would just have been too smart of me to think about, but that's okay. I have it on my phone because I use my phone all the time. Hang on here. You guys see my screen, right? Somebody's gonna have to let me know. Or if you don't, let me know.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, a couple things I want to show you guys. So this is obviously the Scented Bliss Family Facebook group, which I'm going to guess all of you guys are a part of. If you go to featured right here, I'm going to show you this here. So this is a great start for new consultants for you to help them with your onboarding with them, because basically everything is already laid out right here for them. You've got, if you click on Quick Start, it's going to tell them basically, about their workstation, how to find things, the order status. And then there's a lot of different tips on here too, how to, using your party rewards, how to do Happy Mail, how to do samples. You're going to find on here, we've got awards here, your shooting star, you know, again, so this has got a lot of really good information. The sensational start, what are those, what's that look like? What do they need to be doing to qualify? Tools and resources. So here's some more, this is on how to have a home party, the Facebook group, our YouTube channel. So the monthly movement group, which is a great group. I don't know if that's what they still call it now, but anyways, it's a great group. So there's lots of information on here to help with your onboarding of your new consultants. So if you don't have an onboarding plan, this is a great tool. I'm going to go right back to where, oops. So it's under featured in the group. Show you again. It's under featured. And then you can click on it. Whoops, where did it go? Okay. Hello, just kidding. Well, am I not clicking on feature? Oh, geez, sorry. Like I said, I'm used to working from my phone and my computer, so I just use this for Zooming. So you'll click on this. And in case you guys didn't know, see, you can, down on the bottom here, at least on Apple products, I'm guessing it's on Android too. There's a little arrow down here. Maybe you see it in the bottom left-hand corner, this little arrow here. This is where you can copy the link and you could then share this in a text message to a new team member or through Messenger or however you want to save it. Okay. So that's where you can access that. Okay.
Can you show that again one more time where that link is that you just had?
Uh-huh. Yes, I have to find that again. Go to feature, just a second. So on the bottom left, I have a little arrow. Can you see it on your screen? Okay, so I click on that and see where it says copy link. So now at this point, it's copied it. So now I can go open up a text message. I can send it via email, Messenger, however I want to send it to my new team member. Okay. And yeah. And now another thing you can do if you're like, well, that might just be too much, or maybe they just specifically want to know about awards. See if you click on just the awards section. Heather, do you see the little arrow down here still exists? You can just click on that arrow and just send that portion. So I can copy this link and it's going to open up just to this page so that what they see right away is just this page. So you can share just pieces too, specifically, if you're worried about it being too overwhelming. So there's one resource I wanted to share. And now I've got to open up the other one here. Give me a second because I have it on my phone saved. Because this one has got all the things. Oh man. Okay, I know what I'm gonna have to hold on. Just a second. Okay, let me grab this now. Okay, here we go. All right. You guys still see this, right? And let me,
yes,
hang on, let me jump over here and mute real quick. Okay. Now where did that go? All right, here we go. All right, so this is, it's called actually a landing page, but this has got everything and anything you guys could ever want to know. It's got a ton of information. And this here, depending on which parts you click on. So for example, when you click on this new consultant start here, guess what? It's going to open up to this page, which is going to then share with them the new consultants day 1 through 15, 16 through 45, 46 through 70. All right. So that's just an easy way. And again, you can just share this part. So I can click right here. And if you just wanted to share this with your brand new consultant that just joined, you can just share this piece. You don't have to send all of them. If you look up here on the top right, again, at least on Apple products, there's a little square with an arrow shooting through it. If you click on that, I can copy just the link to this portion right here. So that way, that's the only thing that I'm sending them, and I'm not overwhelming them with all of it if they don't need or want to know all of the things, okay? So there's that part. Let me go back. The other thing I wanted to show you guys. So remember how I mentioned, and you can click on all of this stuff, by the way, and check it out later. But here's one for reinstatements, because this is going to look a little different. So if you have them click on the reinstatements, start here, or you can just send them this. It's got a checklist form. It's got the product training guide, because I've got consultants that have joined, came back after years of being a consultant, and we've got so many more products. So making sure they're familiar with the product training guide is really important. How to set up their launch event, what are the requirements for reinstatement consultants. Here's a sample of what the kit might look like. And like I said, there's additional information here too, just to help them. So you could just send just this portion if you wanted to help them with their onboarding. And then let's talk about the sensational start. So when you click here on awards, this is going to show them the different things that they can earn as far as their recognition and awards, including those sensational start awards. So it's all right here, what they can earn. Okay. And there's some trackers in there too. And then we want to talk about down here about booking and host coaching. I bet you can guess when you click on that, what you're going to find. All kinds of information. Here's samples of like sample text that you can message people. If you're like, I don't know what to say when I ask someone, well, we got it all right here. So here's host coaching, some images with conversation starters, all kinds of information all around bookings. Then we talked about fundraisers. So if you go here on fundraisers, guess what? This section is all about fundraising. So for those of you that have never done a fundraiser or you're not sure where to start, guess what? Now you do. You will be able to access this as soon as my internet decides to open up. That's unusual. Usually it's really quick. Oh, there we go. And everything you ever wanted to know about fundraisers are all right here. So it's all here for you. So you guys can check this out later. And then sponsoring, I wanted to get down. There's a lot of stuff obviously here. I wanted to get down here to sponsoring. So let's go over here to sponsoring. I've got several different specific trainings on how to sponsor, but the one I seem to find that the two things that I think are really important. Number one is the sponsor checklist. So if you've had a team member join, make sure you utilize this checklist, and that'll kind of help you keep on track to make sure that you're covering all the important things to helping them with their onboarding. And then if you're needing some basic sponsoring training, we've got one here. And then I'm going to tell you, Stephanie did a really good job on her host exclusive starter kit training. So if you are not familiar with that, every time you have a party that reaches 200 PRV, there is a host kit that's attached to that you can then, obviously the goal is for your host of that party to utilize it, but sometimes you have your own party. So you need to find somebody to claim that kit. And this training is going to walk you through the steps of what that looks like and how to do that. And it also, we've got here just an FAQ, the step-by-step directions. So everything you ever wanted to know about sponsoring is going to be right there. And like I said, there's a lot of additional information on here too. And I will share this link for those of you guys that don't have this. I will share this in the group when we get done here so you guys can see it, and I'll put it in the event as well. But I wanted to point this out because I know some of you guys may not know this, and I clearly need to do this on my iPad in case I'm ever in this situation again. Remember the little square I told you at the top right with the arrow? If I click on that, it's going to, and scroll down, it's going to give me the option to add that to my favorites. So I'm going to save that there. And that way, tomorrow or next week or the following week, when I need to find it quickly, like I needed it tonight, see how it's right here now under my favorites? So it'll forever and always be here on my iPad under favorites. I have it on my phone, but I didn't have it on my iPad, but now I do. So these are the things I reference all the time. So I just thought I'd share that since we were on. Now I'm going to click off real quick, and then I have a couple other things I wanted to share with you guys. You come back to the Zoom. Where are you guys? Oh, there you are. How come my picture's not on? Okay, there we go. Let me go back. I had a couple more things. Some of you guys, I hope many of you guys are super, super excited and are like really just ready to go out and conquer the world. And so you're wanting to know and do all of the things. There's a few things I want to share with you, especially when it comes, because I just had some conversations last night. And people were like, well, I just don't know where to start to get my customers. And I don't know where to start to get sales because they're new consultants. We have in the Scented Bliss Facebook group, it's called Guides. Remember where I showed you that featured area was? There's also an area that says Guides. If you scroll down towards, like, I don't know, it's probably like number 27th or 30th or something, there are sample posts for the spring summer catalog. Utilize those. Use them, tweak them, make them your own wording, whatever you want to do, use that information. Those are some great starter conversations on sharing the products until you get more comfortable and familiar. That's why so many of our team members and our Scentsy family share. It's so we can help each other. Or if you've got something that's working really well for you and you've shared something that's like going great and people are joining or reinstating or they're buying, then share it in the group with others as well. 2 other groups I wanted to mention. There's a lot of really good ones, but United We Rise is a group that was started several years ago. And they've got training on anything and everything, you name it. And they always go live in the group and you can go back and rewatch any of the lives. So there is everything you could ever want to know can be found in that group. And I already mentioned, which, like I said, I just have it to where I get my notifications, but some of you guys can probably tell me. I think didn't they change the name of the monthly movement? I think it's now Thursday Night Shift. Is it Thursday Night Shift? I just get the notification. So like, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Somebody.
Yes.
Okay. That is a phenomenal group. Some of my very favorite people lead that group and they share and they go live and they've got such great content. So there should never be an excuse that you don't know what to post, that you don't know how to do a monthly newsletter. I'm telling you guys, if you are involved in either one of those groups and let alone ours, the information is there. You're going to have to invest the time and you're going to have to do the work because none of us can do it for you, but you all are capable of doing it. I mean, I'm living proof. I was a stay-at-home mom. I'd never sold a thing in my life, and I earned my first incentive trip right out of the gate. And I've earned every one since because I've had the mindset and the determination to do it. So I saw this today and I was like, wow, this is like so perfect. And I wanted to share this. Success at anything will always come down to this: focus and effort. And we control both. That was a quote by Dwayne Johnson. And it is so true, guys. Focus and effort. And we are the ones who control how much focus and how much effort we put into anything. If you guys put the focus and the effort into your Scentsy business, not only are you going to earn one of these incentives, but your Scentsy business is going to start thriving. It's the work that you do now that's going to lead you to the benefits as the months and the years continue to go. I mean, and again, it's not all just financial. I know some of you guys, you are dependent on that. I'm dependent on it. I mean, this pays my bills, so I am very dependent on it. But it is so much bigger and better than just the dollar signs. It's the friendships. I mean, I would have never in a million years went to South Africa. That was never on my bucket list. But to this day, that is by far the most spectacular trip I've ever been on in my entire life. So it's going to take a lot to top that. And it's all because of Scentsy. So it is so possible. So with that, I am going to stop the recording here real quick.